As we know, Fullkrug has unfortunately been injured while on international duty, and today we are going to be talking through what this actually means for the wider team. Yes, West Ham Network. So our new striker, Fullkrug, who we are hoping to give some more game time and watch him settle in nicely, who got a goal for Germany. Things were looking really good. He has, of course, sustained an Achilles injury while training with the Germany national team. It doesn't look to be overly serious, so that is the positive of this. And it's thought that he's been taken out it's more of a precautionary measure. But this does beg the question, how should we set up without our big German striker? So if you enjoy this video, please support it by giving it a like, hit that thumbs up button, and of course, drop a comment on your thoughts down below. So I'm going to start with my least favourite first. One of the options is Danny Ings. So he was rumoured to have got a hat-trick in our recent friendly behind closed doors. And he's, of course, going to be keen to show Lopetegui what he can do. He has scored 4 goals in 54 appearances for us, with most of his game time coming from the bench. He does, however, have 71 Premier League goals in total to his name, and he can score if he's given the service. It's just not the dream striker that we'd all been hoping for. And he just hasn't been able to convert the chances that he has been given. That's the best way to put it. Not been given loads of chances, but when he has not wowed us. But we ran through the stats recently on how we are starting to see signs of us getting more touches in the opponent's box, with more than double the shots, excuse me, and double the chances in the box against City when compared to our previous game against them. Both 3-1 scorelines, but it does look as though we're changing up the way that we're playing. We're looking a lot more positive in the way that we're trying to bring the ball into the opponent's box. And this begs the question, could Danny Ings technically fit better into the style of play that we're trying to build? So he needs the service in the same way that Fullkrug was. And I assume that's what Lopetegui has been trying to build and work into the way that we're playing. So I wonder whether Lopetegui will favour bringing in Danny Ings. If it's a short-term replacement, say he's just out for the Fulham game, would we just do a like-for-like, striker-for-striker swap while Fullkrug recovers and gets back to full fitness? Then the other option we've got, Antonio, he has started in both Premier League games so far under Lopetegui. So clearly Julian does rate what he can do and thinks that he can do what's needed up top. But he had a late game for Jamaica against Honduras, and then he's got to obviously travel back to London. So he's likely to be pretty knackered by the time it comes to kick off in our next Premier League game. And also he's just not looked good, has he? Like, he has not set my world alight. There've been seasons where obviously he gets a lot of criticism, and I'm like, oh, but he is running, and like if the chance comes off, we know he's not the most clinical. Maybe he can do something. But so far this season, I have not felt like that at all. It really feels rather hopeless in terms of having Antonio up top at the moment. Maybe it will change. And then there's the option that I would choose, and that's Bowen. So if we play Bowen up top, we can put Kudus out on the right. We can play Paqueta centrally in the middle where he can link up play. And then we can have Somerville on the left, giving him more game time and basically keeping everyone in position. Obviously, this does mean technically Bowen's playing up top as a striker and he's a right winger. So technically you could say he's out of position, but we've seen how good he is up top. We've seen what he can do, goals and assists. So technically, I'm going to say it's not out of position, but Antonio, he hasn't offered anywhere near enough when given the chance this season. And I think that this is the most balanced lineup that we could play. And it means that we can actually give some time to Somerville, a player that I'm really excited to see what he can do, given a little bit more game time. Kudus gets to play in position. And those are two things that I think we really need to give a proper go and give some time to, so those players can like get used to the players that are around them, because we've got so many individuals that we can slot in and out, but we need to get used to a certain formation so we can get that fluidity going in the style of play, so people know without looking or thinking where a player's going to run to, and that's only going to come with game time together. So hopefully that would be quite successful quite quickly, and they will become set in those positions. And then you never know, it might even make a big challenge for Fullkrug to get back into the side if we're performing that well. But I think there are two approaches that we can take. The first, Lopetegui could swap striker for striker and then play Ings or Antonio up top. And I imagine he wanted to stick to a similar setup and give players time to settle before making changes. But this injury could now force his hand, which brings me to my second approach. And like I said, this is my favourite. And it meant putting up Bowen up top, which I just think we've seen what he can do. We know he's capable of it. And we've got so many attacking players now that can link up and interchange and drop and push forward for each other. So I think it makes us a lot less predictable for opponents to face. And I think it would just be a really exciting game of football. And most importantly, it will allow all the players to play to their strengths, something that we have struggled to do with so many good attacking midfielders, that we haven't really known who to put where and which player to put out of position, because it's mad to be playing a player like Kudus out of position. Is crazy. And finally, we've got Somerville, who looks like he could be the answer to our left wing issues. So it would be great if we could see him doing really well there, and actually getting more than a few minutes having been subbed on. So what I'm trying to say is, go on, Lopetegui, take the leap, give this one some time for players to get comfortable again. And I really do think that this is the formation that we need to be able to attack more. It brings Kudus into the game, and he's looking so good. I think he's our best player on the ball so far this season. So he's a bit of a waste if we put him out of position. He still does really well because he's Kudus. But if you can play to his strengths, I honestly think we'll be unstoppable. In the pace that we will have as well with that setup would be amazing. Somerville needs game time as well to be able to show what he can do. I think that will also help him to cut out the few mistakes that he has made where he's given away possession. So that would be good. And the speed that he's got, the way that he takes players on, can you imagine him on one side and then Kudus on the right? And then Paqueta linking up play, and then Bowen dropping. Honestly, I'm excited. I'm excited at the thought of that. And yeah, we could get balls into the box with Kudus and Somerville whipping it in, Paqueta linking everything. I can't see any excuses for us not scoring with that lineup, but that's just my opinion. I want to hear yours. So drop us a comment below with your thoughts on how we should approach the lineup for the Fulham game. Now we've got no Fullkrug for the time being. We know he's out for the Fulham game, because they've already come out with a statement from the Germany national team basically talking about the severity of the injury not being that bad, but that he won't be playing against Fulham. Hopefully he won't be out of training for too long, but we never know how long it'll be before he's back getting a lot of game time. But again, this does allow us to just try some new things out and give us a different way that we can attack games. And also, I'm not feeling overly concerned. I'm obviously disappointed because we've brought Fullkrug in. I really wanted him to get time so that he could settle and start banging in those goals really quickly. But it is what it is. We do have a lot of attacking options, and we're lucky in the fact that while we don't have the dream striker to swap like for like, I think we've got Bowen, Ings and Antonio can do what they need to do as well. So we do have strikers. We're in a better position than we've been in previous seasons when we've lost the striker, and it's not serious. So he hadn't found his form yet as well, Fullkrug. So technically, he's not losing form. It's just pushing back the date that he's going to find it. But hopefully it's not the most long-term injury like everything's reporting. And hopefully he'll be back training in no time. But there you go. There you have it. I want to know your thoughts. Drop us a comment, give this video a like. If you're new around here as well, make sure you subscribe to the West Ham Network. If you fancy treating yourself as well, sign up to be a member of the YouTube channel to enjoy weekly podcasts, monthly prize draws. There's so much more going on over there as well, on top of all the content that you see day to day. So if you fancy it, get yourself signed up because it's great fun. On Monday, me, Russ and Anton did a really fun podcast showing our worst signing 11 basically for West Ham, talking through some of the worst players that we've had at West Ham. And honestly, when you actually run through them, it's baffling how many mad signings we've had that have just been outrageously terrible. So we shared loads of stories with those, which was really fun. So that's all from me, and I hope you have a great day, whatever you're up to. Come on, you Irons.